If you are watching this, it is likely because you are exhausted. Not just tired from a long day or a busy week, but deeply, spiritually drained. You feel like you are walking on eggshells in your own life, constantly monitoring your words, your tone, and your actions to avoid setting off an explosion that seems to come out of nowhere. You might be questioning your own sanity, wondering if you are too sensitive, too demanding, or simply not enough. You have tried to explain yourself. You have tried to be more patient, more loving, more understanding. Yet, no matter how much you give, it is never quite right. The goalposts keep moving, the criticism keeps coming, and the peace you crave feels further away than ever. I want you to take a deep breath right now. I want you to know that what you are feeling is a normal reaction to an abnormal situation. You are not crazy. You are not broken. And you are not the problem. What you are experiencing is the result of a specific dynamic, one that is designed to keep you off balance and keep her in control. This is not about love, even if it was packaged as such. This is about power, validation, and the management of her own internal instability. Today, we are going to talk about how to handle this. We are going to talk about boundaries. But we are not talking about the kind of boundaries you set with a healthy partner, where a simple conversation leads to mutual respect. We are talking about boundary setting in the context of narcissistic dynamics, where every boundary is seen as a threat, and every attempt at self-respect is met with resistance. To understand how to set boundaries, you first have to understand who you are dealing with. When we speak of a narcissistic woman, we are not necessarily talking about someone who is merely vain or self-centered. We are talking about someone whose sense of self is fragile, hollow, and dependent on external validation. She does not have a stable core identity. Instead, she constructs her reality based on how others react to her. If you admire her, she is wonderful. If you disagree with her, she is victimized. If you set a limit, she is attacked. This is why your attempts to reason with her often fail. You are trying to use logic with someone who is operating entirely on emotion and perception. For her, feelings are facts. If she feels slighted, you have slighted her, regardless of your intent. If she feels controlled, you are controlling her, even if you are simply asking for basic respect. This dynamic creates a trap for you. You begin to believe that if you just explain yourself better, if you just show her how much you care, she will finally understand. But she does not want to understand you. She wants you to regulate her emotions. She wants you to absorb her anxiety, her anger, and her insecurity, so that she does not have to feel them. This is why you feel so drained. You are carrying an emotional load that was never yours to carry. You have become a container for her chaos. Setting a boundary, in this context, is not just about saying no. It is about refusing to be that container anymore. It is about stepping out of the role she has assigned to you. The first step in this process is recognizing the pushback. When you first attempt to set a boundary with a narcissistic woman, you will not be met with acceptance. You will be met with what psychologists call extinction burst. This is a sudden increase in the intensity of the behavior you are trying to stop. If you stop answering her angry texts immediately, she may send 10 more. If you refuse to engage in an argument, she may scream louder or bring up past grievances. This happens because your previous compliance reinforced her behavior. She learned that if she pushes hard enough, you will fold. When you stop folding, she pushes harder, expecting the old result. It is crucial that you do not interpret this escalation as proof that you are doing something wrong. It is proof that the boundary is working. It is proof that you are disrupting the pattern. Let's look at the most common tactic used to break your boundaries. Guilt. Guilt is the primary weapon in the arsenal of emotional manipulation. She may say things like, "After all I've done for you, this is how you treat me." Or, "I guess I'm just not important to you." These statements are designed to bypass your logic and hit your empathy. They are designed to make you feel responsible for her happiness. If you feel guilty, you will retreat. You will apologize. You will drop the boundary to restore peace. But you must understand that this guilt is manufactured. It is not a reflection of your moral failure. It is a reflection of her inability to tolerate discomfort. You are not responsible for her feelings. You are only responsible for your actions. And your actions, when they are respectful and clear, are not wrong. Another tactic is gaslighting. This is the subtle, steady erosion of your reality. When you set a boundary, she may deny that she ever agreed to it, or she may claim that you are remembering things incorrectly. She might say, "You're being too sensitive," or "That's not what I meant."
The goal here is to make you doubt your own perception. If you doubt yourself, you cannot hold a boundary. You need her version of reality to know what is true. This is why it is essential to trust your own experience. You know what was said. You know how you were treated. You do not need her confirmation to validate your reality. In fact, seeking her confirmation is what keeps you trapped. You must become comfortable with the idea that she will disagree with your reality, and that is okay. Her disagreement does not change the truth. So, how do you actually set these boundaries? The key is simplicity and consistency. Complex explanations are fuel for the fire. When you explain your boundary in detail, you are giving her material to argue with. You are inviting her to debate your feelings. Instead, keep your statements short, neutral, and firm. For example, instead of saying, "I can't talk to you right now because I'm really stressed and I feel like you're yelling and it's hurting me," you simply say, "I am not willing to continue this conversation while voices are raised. I will speak with you when we can both be calm." Then, you disengage. You do not wait for her agreement. You do not wait for her to calm down. You remove yourself from the situation. This removal is critical. A boundary without a consequence is just a suggestion. If you say you will leave the room when she yells, but you stay and argue, you have taught her that your words mean nothing. If you say you will not answer disrespectful texts, but you reply an hour later, you have taught her that persistence pays off. The consequence must be immediate and actionable. It must be something you control. You cannot control her behavior. You cannot make her stop yelling. You cannot make her be respectful. But you can control your presence. You can control your attention. You can control your access. This shift from trying to control her to controlling yourself is the heart of healing. For a long time, you have been focused on managing her moods. You have been hyper-vigilant, scanning for signs of trouble, trying to preemptively soothe her. This is a survival mechanism, but it is not a way to live. It keeps you in a state of chronic stress. When you set boundaries, you are reclaiming your energy. You are saying, "My peace is more important than your drama." This feels selfish at first, because you have been conditioned to believe that putting yourself first is wrong. But it is not selfish. It is self-preservation. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot be a good partner, friend, or parent
if you are emotionally depleted by someone who refuses to respect you. As you begin to implement these boundaries, you will notice a change in the dynamic. She may try to recruit others to your cause. She may tell friends or family that you are cold, distant, or abusive. This is known as triangulation. She is trying to isolate you and validate her own narrative. Do not take the bait. Do not try to defend yourself to everyone. Those who truly know you will see the truth. Those who do not are not worth your energy. Your job is not to convince the world of your goodness. Your job is to maintain your integrity. Let her have her narrative. You know the truth. That is enough. There will be moments of intense loneliness during this process. When you stop playing the game, you lose the connection, however toxic it was. You may miss the highs, the moments of intense affection that often followed the conflicts. This is part of the trauma bond. The cycle of abuse creates a chemical addiction in the brain. The relief after a conflict feels like love, but it is actually just the absence of pain. Recognize this for what it is. Do not mistake relief for intimacy. True intimacy is consistent. It is safe. It does not require you to sacrifice your dignity. You must also prepare for the possibility that she will not change. This is the hardest truth to accept. Many people hold on to the hope that if they just set the right boundary in the right way at the right time, the other person will wake up and realize their mistakes. But narcissistic patterns are deeply ingrained. They are defense mechanisms that have been developed over a lifetime. Changing them requires a level of self-awareness and humility that is often absent in narcissistic structures. Therefore, your boundaries are not for her. They are for you. They are not designed to fix her. They are designed to protect you. Whether she changes or not is irrelevant to your decision to respect yourself. This perspective shift is liberating. It takes the pressure off. You no longer have to monitor her reactions to determine your worth. You no longer have to walk on eggshells. You can stand on solid ground. You can say no without apologizing. You can walk away without looking back. You can choose silence over engagement. This is not punishment. It is peace. It is the quiet space where you can hear your own thoughts again. It is the space where you can remember who you are outside of this relationship. As you practice this, you will find that your confidence grows. Each time you hold a boundary, you send a message to your subconscious that you are valuable. You are worthy of respect. You are capable of protecting yourself. This builds a foundation of self-trust that is unshakable. You begin to realize that you do not need her validation to exist. You do not need her approval to be whole. You are complete on your own. This realization is the beginning of true emotional independence. It is important to remain calm throughout this process. Anger and resentment will only tie you to her. If you set boundaries with anger, she will use that anger to justify her behavior. She will point to your tone and ignore your message. Therefore, practice detached compassion. See her behavior as a symptom of her own pain and limitation, not as a personal attack on you. This does not mean you accept the behavior. It means you do not internalize it. You observe it, you acknowledge it, and then you choose your response. This detachment is your shield. It allows you to stay clear-headed and focused on your well-being. Healing is not a linear process.
There will be days when you slip, days when you engage in the argument, days when you feel the pull of the old dynamic. Be gentle with yourself. Forgiveness is part of healing. Acknowledge the slip, learn from it, and recommit to your boundaries. Do not let perfectionism become another tool for self-criticism. Progress is measured in trends, not in individual moments. Over time, the slips will become fewer. The clarity will become sharper. The peace will become deeper. You are building a new life. A life based on truth, respect, and authenticity. This life may look different from the one you imagined. It may be quieter. It may involve fewer people. But it will be real. It will be yours. You are no longer living in someone else's shadow. You are no longer dancing to someone else's tune. You are standing in your own light. Remember, you deserve relationships that add to your life, not drain it. You deserve partners who respect your no as much as your yes. You deserve peace. And that peace begins with the decision to stop participating in chaos. It begins with the simple, powerful act of setting a boundary and holding it. Not with anger, not with fear, but with the quiet certainty that you matter. Take this knowledge and use it. Start small. Choose one area where you feel disrespected. Set one clear, simple boundary. Follow through with the consequence. Observe what happens. Notice how it feels to prioritize yourself. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but that discomfort is the growing pain of freedom. It is the feeling of breaking free from chains you didn't know you were wearing. You are stronger than you think. You are more resilient than you know. And you are not alone in this journey. Many have walked this path before you, and many are walking it with you now. Keep going. Keep choosing yourself.
Keep choosing peace. The fog will lift, the confusion will clear, and you will find, on the other side of this storm, a version of yourself that is calm, grounded, and free. That is your destination. That is your truth. Hold on to it.